It's always important when you're doing stories on education to reflect that things are going to be different in different parts of the United Kingdom. What's happening in Wales and how worried are you about children being out of the classroom for so long?
Well, as from tomorrow, all schools across Wales, other than in Anglesey, where we have a local outbreak of coronavirus, will go back. All children will have an opportunity to check in, to catch up and to prepare for the summer and into the autumn. And we are very keen indeed to do that because of our anxieties about vulnerable children, about children who are moving from primary to secondary school. And of course in Wales we have large numbers of children who are taught through the medium of Welsh, but who may not hear that much Welsh at home.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you're obviously taking the view that you're trying to get all schools back into the classroom, all children, back into the classroom, at least for limited periods, rotating the children in school each day. It goes against some of the advice that's given from the UK government, saying that teachers should try and stick to one group of students where possible to avoid being overexposed. Are you worried that you could be putting teachers at risk by this plan?
No, we worked very hard indeed with our trade union colleagues and our local education authorities. They had more than 3 weeks' notice of our intention to reopen schools, and a huge effort has gone on by teachers and non-teaching staff to make sure that schools will be safe for teachers, safe for students. I know hundreds of conversations across Wales between parents and head teachers looking to see what has been put in place. We are confident that we can do this safely, and we are confident that we are doing the right thing for the benefit of children.
It was really interesting going to talk to the head teacher at the school in Crawley this week. He was saying that, teachers can do everything they can to reach out to children they know are vulnerable. But of course, if some are disengaged from education, it might be very difficult to get them to re-engage unless they get back in the classroom. What kind of impact do you think we'll see on these children if they are away from the classroom for so long?
Well, one of the reasons why we were keen to reopen all schools is that we've learned something from the last 3 months. We've had 450 schools in Wales open throughout the pandemic for vulnerable children and children of key workers. What we're finding is that if you're a vulnerable child and your school is open, you tend to go there. But if you're asked to go to a different school, where teachers you may not know and children you may not be familiar with, a journey you're not used to making, then you tend not to go there. So by reopening all schools, we think we have a real chance to make sure that those children we are most concerned about come back through the school door, and then we will be able to have that face-to-face contact with them, talk to their parents, make a plan. Not all children are in the position of having all the resources they need at home. And our efforts are really concentrated on making sure that we reach those we need to reach the most. And by opening all schools, we think that's a really significant way in which we can make that happen.
It's a very interesting observation, actually. You can see why parents could be concerned about, their children, particularly younger children, resettling in a new environment in times that are already, very different to normality for them. Now, in England, pubs and restaurants and similar venues are going to be reopening from the 4th of July. What's happening in Wales, and do you think that Boris Johnson is moving too quickly?
Well, we are planning with our hospitality sector to see if we can safely reopen outdoor hospitality here in Wales. Had a series of very good conversations with the sector last week, and we hope to conclude those conversations at the first half of next week. But we will continue to do things in the way we've done things in Wales. Carefully, cautiously, one step at a time. We put our efforts into planning first and making the announcement second. Not making an announcement and then thinking about how you can make those things happen.
So do you think that's what the UK government, the Boris Johnson-led government's been doing?
Well, my concerns with the UK government are sometimes less with the substance, where I think we are all broadly still trying to do the same things. I'm more concerned at the messaging, the way things are described. Here in Wales, I am very keen to continue to say to Welsh citizens, coronavirus has not gone away. It remains something that kills people in Wales every day. If you don't stay on top of it, you will see things going backwards and everything that we have done together thrown away. And that's a very different message, I think, to the message across the border, where the message seems much more that, you know, it's all over and you can go back to doing everything as you did before. I think we're seeing around the world how that leads to flare-ups of the disease again. So, in substance, I don't think we're that far apart. We give a much more sober message to people in Wales because we are still in a coronavirus crisis.
Interesting to hear about your concerns on the messaging. Do you think the Prime Minister is perhaps too keen to give good news?
Well, you know, it's not for me to tell other people how they should make decisions elsewhere. As I say, you know, here in Wales, we have had enormous social solidarity from people in sticking to the 2-metre rule, in doing the right things. I don't want them to hear a message that simply says, it's all over, there's going to be Freedom Saturday where you can do as you like. You can't. Not if you want to be careful about your own health and the health of other people. This crisis is not over. It's not over in Wales and it's not over across the whole of the United Kingdom. And that's what we need to be reminding people of as we move together to restore freedoms to people where we are confident we have the headroom to do so.
Just want to look at some of your track record on Wales as well, particularly on testing. Now, we know, of course, how important testing is as we ease our way out of lockdown and trying to stop any flare-ups of the virus in the future. It's something Wales has struggled with, frankly. You know, you set and then dropped a target of 5,000 tests a day in April. Last month, the Welsh Secretary said that Wales had fallen behind the other 3 nations on testing and it was making progress with this whole recovery process so much slower. What is happening with testing in Wales and have you really got a grip on the situation?
No, I think we are absolutely on top of testing here in Wales. We have thousands more tests available in Wales today than we did earlier in the disease. We have demonstrated this week, where we've had 2 major outbreaks in North West and North East Wales, that our Test, Trace, Protect system has worked very effectively, where we've been on top of those outbreaks very quickly, where we've mobilised mass testing, where the results are back within 24 hours, where we believe we are able to contain the outbreaks, so we don't yet see community spread from them. We may have had to build up our system more slowly, but I think our system is now in very good shape and demonstrating every day that it is working effectively.